Board members, if you will please register your attendance. Mr. Welch and Ms. Vogt, if you will register your attendance, please. I'd like to call this meeting to order and welcome everyone this evening to the Monday, August 18th, 2014 meeting of the Williamson County Board of Education. First item on the agenda is before I move to that, I would please ask that everyone please silence or turn off your cell phones. And I'd also like to thank Deputy Dominic Calvaney for being here this evening to provide our security. We always appreciate your presence, and thank you so much for being here tonight. First order of business is the pledge. If you would please stand and for the pledge and remain standing for a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. I want to remind board members that on Thursday evening you received some new pages on page 24, 45, 83, and on page 96. Additionally, on page 39, which is the annual agenda, under September on line 1, that board policy needs to be changed to reflect board policy 1.400. Item 3E under new business has been removed from this evening's agenda. Are there any other corrections before we move forward? Would someone like to make a motion to approve the agenda? Motion for Ms. Mills.
Second.
Second for Mr. Welch. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I see none. Motion carries. As part of this approval process, we approved on the consent agenda the minutes from the June 16th, 2014 meeting of the board. We approved board policy revisions for second reading. The following policies have been deleted: 1.0001 School Board Goal and Mission Statement, 1.200 Officers' Method of Elections, 2.2001 Staff Involvement, 2.2002 Public Involvement, 2.2003 Local Government Involvement, 2.2004 Student Involvement, and 2.2005 Publication of Recommendations. We also approved on second reading Board Policy 1.600 Policy Development. Additionally, we approved the recommendations for field trip fee request, the annual agenda for 2014-15, the school board meeting dates for 2014-15, the sick leave bank trustees for 2014-15, the board parameters for the 2015-16 calendar, outstanding purchase orders for school activity funds, the 2015 IDEA Part B discretionary grant, the Crossroads Bible Church and Independence High School, the Trinity Elementary School storage building, and the construction bid for Mill Creek Elementary and Middle School. The next item on the agenda is public comment. We have 3 individuals who have signed up this evening to address the board. When I call your name, please step to the podium and give your name and address for the record. Mr. Anderson, who sits to my right, is the timekeeper. He has some cue cards to keep you on task. You have 1.5 minutes to address the board. When you hear the timer go off, if you would please conclude your comments and take a seat. The first individual is Kevin King.
I'm actually used to 45 to 55 minutes, so I'll try to be as brief as possible. I'm Kevin King. I'm a teacher in my 22nd year now. I teach at Heritage Middle School. I'm a proud Hornet, and in addition to that, I'm also proud to represent all of the teachers here in Williamson County Schools. As president of WCEA, we represent not only our members, we represent all the teachers through our collaborative conferencing through the PECA law that went into effect 3 years ago. I've enjoyed working with all of you, supporting our school board and everything that they do for our students and for our teachers. And on a night like this, I wanted to be a part of the celebration and celebrate the many things that we have to celebrate here in Williamson County. From TCAP scores to the start of a new year, I'm excited to be a part of the process. I want the remaining school boards to know you can continue to count on WCA to be there. We are a partner. We are not an adversary. We're not a teachers union. We're an association, and we are here to help out students and teachers and you as well as Dr. Looney and his team. We have been thrilled to work with them. This is my last year as president for WCEA. I've enjoyed it. It is truly an honor to represent such high quality teachers and such wonderful students, award-winning students and teachers as well. So no poet, no philosopher, no king would there be without the help of a teacher and the wisdom they bring. So I'm looking forward to a new year, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Next is Robin Newman.
Thank you. I don't think I have a nice sonnet like he did, but members of the board and Dr. Looney, my name is Robin Newman, and I have 2 boys at Centennial High School, a freshman and a junior. I just want to take time tonight to thank you all for the excellent work the board has done and congratulate you on your #1 ranking in the state this year. Also tonight, personally want to acknowledge those board members who will be leaving the board and just thank them for the service they've had for the children of Williamson County and for all of the children. I am a current FSSD school board member, and I thank you for the work you do for our students when they show up in 9th grade at your doors. As a board member, I understand a lot of the complex issues facing public education and some of the difficult decisions you've had to make. So thank you to all of you who are leaving tonight for your hard work. I personally want to thank publicly my 2 friends and acquaintances, Vicki Vogt and Eric Welch. Thank you for your hard work, your diligence, your commitment to the students at Centennial High School especially, where my boys attend, the diverse community that is there, your hard work, your service, your enthusiasm has not gone unnoticed. So thank you. I'm going to say to them and to all of you when you leave the board that your spheres of influence will change, and I know you'll bless those people that you influence, serve, and lead next. I look forward to all the good things the new board has to offer, but thank you all for your service.
Thank you. Next is Abby Balbergen.
Hi, my name's Abby Balberg. Do I say my address?
Yes, ma'am.
2330 Hillsborough Road in Franklin, the Grassland area. I have 2 children at the Franklin High School and a child at the Grassland Middle and a child at Grassland Elementary and a child at the peer program at Perry Creek this year. I just want to make a quick comment about the AP U.S. History exam and standard changes this year. I read some really concerning things about them, and actually encouraged my daughter to drop the class and go into a different history class, which I wanted you to be aware of because I know one of your goals is to have more kids take AP, and her track in high school is actually the AP track. So I wanted to just encourage you guys to look at those standards because they don't actually meet the Tennessee state standards for history, and I would love her to actually take that class, but I didn't feel comfortable. So I just wanted to make that comment here tonight because I know some of the new board members are here as well so that everybody can be aware. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes public comment for this evening. The next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Dr. Looney.
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. It's good to see you this evening, and thank the principals and audience members for being here as well. As you know, school has started, and even though there's a bridge out in Williamson County, we're still having school. We did have one bus that ran particularly late today, about 30 minutes late after our transportation routing changes. That bus actually was a College Grove bus. It reported to school about 30 minutes late, and the indications are it was because the intersection in Triune was particularly busy. As you know, there's not a traffic signal there. There's only a four-way stop. But with that exception, I am told that our bus service was on time and relatively normal today. We did have higher than normal bus ridership, which was good. The parents listened to our appeal, and I would continue asking them to help us as we move forward. We have been talking about the new normal as it relates to transportation services with the bridge out. Obviously, that's going to change the way things work for quite some time, total about 90 days. But we've managed to accommodate that change, and I'm really proud to say that law enforcement, TDOT, county officials, local police departments all have stepped up and worked together. I understand there were 17 different intersections that we had patrol officers actually working the intersection this morning, and so I'm very, very thankful to all those officials. I do want to just give you a heads up on a couple of important announcements later this week. On Wednesday of this week, I believe Wednesday is the 20th, the ACT composite scores for the school districts across the state of Tennessee and the Tennessee state composite scores will be released. Obviously, that information is still embargoed until 3 a.m. on the 20th. But what I can tell you, and I'm proud to tell you, since some of you this will be your last meeting in an official capacity, is that we will once again reach an all-time ACT composite record in Williamson County, and we will have more students that are college and career ready in all 4 subject areas than at any time in the history of this school district. I also want to let you know that in the very near future, later this week, the State Department of Education will be releasing the annual reward school list. You may very well remember that last year we had a record-breaking number of 26. That information is still currently embargoed, but I will tell you that we will break that record as well. So I am thankful for all the work that the boys and girls and our teachers have done to get us there. I want to give a shout out to Mrs. Watley. I spent some time in her first period Algebra 1 or 2 class today, and it was absolutely phenomenal. So Mrs. Watley, I hope you're watching. That's Algebra 2 at Ravenwood High School. I really enjoyed my visit. That completes my report. It's time to turn our attention to spotlighting some students and employees, and then we'll have a couple of comments about board members.
We are going to continue celebrating. I was watching you there for a minute. Didn't want you to slip up and share some of that embargoed information, Dr. Looney.
You
So
can count on me, Kate.
we are going to start with Ravenwood High School, and this is Shruti Madhu, and she is going to represent the state of Tennessee at Girls Nation. What's interesting about this for Ravenwood is this is the 3rd year in a row that a Ravenwood student has represented at Girls Nation. And let's talk about world language, foreign language exams, because we have a long list of students to celebrate. Franklin High School and Luann Mays. Luann placed first in the National Level 2 French exam. Her teacher is Allison Nixon. At Brentwood High School, this is Andrew Elledge. Andrew placed first in the National Level 2 German exam. His teacher is Emily Dawson, and actually Andrew and Ravenwood student Ben Thiem actually tied first place National Level 2 German exam. Ben's teacher is Jonathan Sawyer. In the Level 4 German exam, this is Angela Caprio. She is a Brentwood student. Her teacher is Emily Dawson. Hayes Webb, Ravenwood High School, first place National Level 1 Latin exam. Jason Neighbors is his teacher. Brentwood High School, first place National Level 2 Spanish exam. Shirag
Cossack, Rebecca Rowe. Also, let's see, he tied with Lucas Marcus from Independence High School, Level 2 Spanish exam. Jennifer Jazerny is his teacher. We're bouncing all over the place, but back to Brentwood High School. Akash Oza, first place National Level 5 Spanish exam. Ron Thompson, and also from Brentwood High School, Kimberly Edelman. First place National Level 6 Spanish exam. Ron Thompson, her teacher as well. Several students from Page High School represented our district at the Technology Student Association National Conference over the summer, and these students presented the colors and performed the national anthem. Wilson Cochran, Brock Bolton, Ben Wilt, Jacob Albert, and Dewey Paddock sang the national anthem. Their teachers are Beth Foreman and Jimmy Baker. We have a staff spotlight to share tonight. This is Jan Little from Brentwood High School, and she was the recipient of the Don Jenkins Award for Excellence in the Teaching of English. And we do want to celebrate two high schools tonight. Page High School was awarded the Platinum High Achievement Award from High Schools That Work. And they have received this award based on their work from 2012 through 2016. However that works, I'm not really sure. But we are celebrating them. Anyway, they continue to win this award, and according to Dr. Anthony, she didn't get to go up on stage because they won it so many times. But anyway, Franklin High School did get to go up on stage. This was the first time for them to win this award, I believe. High Schools That Work Platinum High Achievement Award. Congratulations to all of our students, staff, and schools.
Thank you, Ms. Birdsong.
At this time, I'm gonna actually get up and speak from the microphone. But before I do want to recognize our friend and a professional colleague, Mr. Wayne Miller. If you'll please stand. Wayne is the executive director for Tennessee Organization of School Superintendents. He makes his way around to all school board meetings across the state, and he has blessed us with his presence tonight. So thank you for being here. Well, tonight's a tough night, and so I apologize in advance for the unusual nature of my comments. I guess in December it will be 5 years since I've joined the team, and it's been a remarkable adventure. And tonight we're going to be saying an official goodbye to several board members that have served this community with honor and integrity and have made a huge impact on the boys and girls of Williamson County. And so I just want to take a moment to formally say thank you, and I think Carol's going to have some pictures, and Costa, I think you are going to help me out, right? And I'm going to start in no particular order, but I'm going to work my way around the way you're seated. So Janice Mills, you're the lucky one. If you'll come join me, please. Janice, you have been a voice of reason.
You're not gonna make me cry.
You have been a friend. You have challenged my thinking. You have held me accountable when I was wrong. More importantly, you have brought so much passion to the decision-making process. It is unbelievable. You're going to be missed, and we love you, and we wish you well in your years of retirement. But just know that I still have you on speed dial, and I'm going to keep calling you, and we're going to keep talking.
That's good.
Whether it's talking about volleyball or talking about David Heath or any of our old stories, we're going to keep talking. So we have a small gift for you, and we'd like to take a picture with you, Janice.
try to be brief, which is not normally like me. It's been an honor and a privilege for me to serve the families and the students of this wonderful, wonderful school district. We've done many, many great things over the years for the students, and it's just amazing to me. I have such great appreciation and respect for you, Mike, for your staff. They're absolutely the finest people ever to work with. Our teachers are awesome. They always rise up and go above and beyond in anything we ask them to do. Our students are so eager to learn. They're so smart. They're just awesome. We have an awesome district, and it has been absolutely a privilege for me to serve in this capacity. And I'm not going away. I will be here, and I look forward to what the future brings. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to honor a gentleman. Tim, if you'll make your way up. And I use that word purposefully because I have always considered you to be a gentleman and a man of your word, a man of integrity. You've kind of been a calm force on the board. You're quiet, but resolute. And I appreciate your guidance and your integrity and the knowledge that you have brought to the school board. It's been an honor to work with you, Tim, and you're going to be sorely missed. Godspeed to you, buddy. We didn't have our picture made together. I'm sorry.
Go ahead and let Tim speak.
I need a stool. Who wants to speak first?
You know, by the time the sixth person comes around, they're not going to have anything to say, but I think it's the same thing, you know. I think that it's been an honor. I've been on the school board for 6 years. It's been an incredible honor to be part of this organization. Hopefully that the input and the things that I've taken the time to enter into the organization has been a positive thing, a plus. You know, I'm to be part of a school system that has excelled and done so well over the last 6 years is a great asset to this community. It's why people come to this community. That's why we came. We came here because we wanted our kids to be part of this school system. And I think that a lot of other people make the same decision. And so I want to thank my fellow school board members. It's been an honor to serve with all of you, the staff, and Dr. Looney, yourself as well. You know, they've been phenomenal. And any time that we as board members have asked for any information to be able to make the decisions that we need to make, you've met and exceeded the information that we've needed. I think that the principals and the teachers, with all of the added conflict, I guess you'd really call, you know, all of the extra stress on the teachers, they have exceeded everything through it all. And so I also want to thank the people that felt it was fit for me to be in office 2 times, you know. And I truly believe, you know, I mean, that we are people under God, one nation under God. And I promise to be praying for this school district in the years to come. The new board, as they combine with the old board, we will continue to make an impasse. And so I just thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, my time is up. Thank you.
Sherry, if you'll make your way up here, I'd appreciate it. Sherry has been on the board for a short time, but actually has been working with the board for a long time. She has really, honestly, been a silent hero amongst us. She's been gracious, articulate, poised, persistent, positive, and has left a lasting impression on me as a leader. Sherry, I'm really thankful for you. I'm thankful for how you're able to bring people together for a common good. I'm thankful for you seeing the good in people rather than focusing on the negative of people. Your short time has made a tremendous amount of difference in Williamson County, and I promise you your work is not done yet. We look forward to what you will bring to the table next. I wish you lots of luck, and I look forward to visiting with you a lot. Thank you so much.
Well, this is a very poignant day, and for many reasons. Today, I just dropped off about an hour ago our middle son to Ole Miss to start his senior year, and then our youngest son just started his first day at Auburn. Those two, combined with our oldest daughter, received an excellent education here in Williamson County schools. And to my colleagues on the board, to you, Dr. Looney, to the principals, the staff, the teachers, I say thank you for doing that on behalf of our 3 children, as well as the thousands of others. Today is also, I believe, the first day of kindergarten for the class of 2027. And actually, as I was driving fervently back, I kept thinking about that. And as I think about that, it's been a great privilege to me to be able to come up through the volunteer route and the parent volunteer. So I want to speak to that just for a second. Dr. Looney, I want to publicly and personally say to you, thank you. I believe it was probably day 2 when you had started and you received the call from me, okay, I'm Sherry Hammond, and we want to start a PTO Leadership Council. Are you good with that? And so we barely got you inside, and your overwhelming support for the parents and the volunteers of this community and this school district is unparalleled, I believe, in any place I've ever been a part of. So thank you for doing that for the parents. And to all the parents, I say, be involved. From the beginning, as I say to all of our youngest parents that are just starting, get to know your principals, get to know your board members, get to know the counselors in your school, but be involved, because when you affect one life, you're affecting hundreds and thousands of other lives. So thank you so much.
Eric and I have more in common. Eric, Mr. Welch, come on forward. More in common than some know, because he's got a military background as well. Eric has been a studious, reflective board member that has worked tirelessly on behalf of boys and girls, and has brought a level of professionalism and intellect and courage to the board that we needed at a very important time. Eric, I consider you a friend, a confidant, and a professional. And I'm going to miss you, sir, and I'm thankful for your service. Mike, it's yours.
All right, thank you. What do you say, Janice? You want to argue one last time? Or you wanna... We'll save it. Good point. What an absolute honor and blessing it's been to have served this district. I'm just humbled by being able to be affiliated with such a wonderful school district. The absolute professionalism of our teachers, our administrators, our central office staff, our superintendent, by far the best superintendent in the state. Apologies, Robin, you can have number 2. We're going to take number 1 tonight on that. it's been such a wonderful experience, and like Tim, it was this school district that brought my family and myself to this community. A few years ago, it looked like there was a chance that we would have to move back, and my wife reminded me, you can go, but we're not going with you. So, so none of us did. No regrets. I think from day one, I always said, just do what's best, I think, for the district and let the chips fall where they may. And so I will say, I'm proud to say I've always done that. Never willing to trade my integrity for the office in that sense. So very proud, and again, thank you for all the opportunity that you've bestowed upon me. I hope in some small way I've given that back in small part to the district and the children that we serve. Thank you.
Vicki, I finally got that wall finished at Centennial. Vicki Vogt, Vicki, you have been such a blessing to me. You honestly have. You have questioned me, challenged me, made me think differently, argued with me. It has been an eye-opening experience to have you as a leader of this district. And I will tell you, all of our board members have been really, really wonderful, but you have been so tenacious. I'm telling you, if Centennial High School ever needed a spokesperson, Vicki, I know that you must bleed Cougar Nation. I have never seen anybody so focused on helping a school be successful. I'm grateful for your leadership. We owe you so much. The short time that you have been on the board has made a huge difference, and I will frankly tell you, Centennial is a better place because of you, and I'm thankful for you.
Thank you very much. Well, I started out on this journey to give back. That was my whole intent. And I received. And that's a surprise. My children benefited so much from the education that they received. And I have to say, it was a long summer, and it was for a lot of reasons, a lot of personal reasons. But I feel so strongly that this school system is one to fight for, and to have served on a board that achieved more than any board, I think, in any school system in the past 20 years of the history of Williamson County Schools. I have to say that I feel proud to have served with you. I learned so much. The amount of things that go on in a school system, it's humbling. And it's 35,000 students, and it's 41, soon to be 43 schools. It's a major responsibility, and you all do it with such grace. And the people who work here, I don't think they're valued enough for the effort that they come to school every day, from the teachers, the janitors, the cafeteria workers, the bus drivers, the principals. They all work together to make our school system something to be so proud of. And I feel like I have been humbled by the experience, and now that I'm going to be in the cheap seats, I'll still be questioning. I'll still be that person who's got that question out there. But it's only because I love our school system so much, and I appreciate everything that's been done for our schools. Thank you so much, Dr. Looney.
Ms. Pat, it's going to take me a moment, so just stay seated just for a second.
Okay.
For those of you that were on the board the day of my last interview, I'll never forget it. And Pat and I were laughing about it just a few moments ago. A lightning storm came in and blew out the transformer, and so I was interviewing in the complete dark. And I knew then that this was a district that I wanted to work for, and it's not because the way I handled myself in the interview, because the truth of it is I was just trying to get through it. But the board chairman had such grace and command and vision of where this school district needed to go and what the expectations of the superintendent should be. I frankly was drawn to it. You don't know this perhaps, but I call Pat Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa answered the phone for me at 3 o'clock in the morning or midnight, didn't matter. She'd find a way, and if she missed me, she'd call me right back. We've talked for hours on the phone about various topics. Sometimes her just asking about my children, sometimes talking about a major conflict or issue that has been raised in the district, but somehow she's always managed to avert the crisis with a calm, steady hand, a reassuring hand, a guiding hand. And for those members in the audience, you didn't know this, but Mrs. Anderson always kept duct tape in her purse, just in case I got ahead of myself, which I often do. Pat, you're such a classy person. You have so much integrity. You have taught me so much. You really make me want to be a better leader, and I'm going to miss you dearly. This school district has benefited from your wisdom. You have been the glue that has kept sometimes this rowdy group together. The public doesn't see the arguments and the debate that happen in the work sessions often unless they come. It's kind of like looking into a family's home through the window and not hearing the conversation happen. It's easy to draw conclusions about what happens behind the door and behind the window, but there's a lot of noise there. And somehow, just like at Thanksgiving, Mother Teresa gets us all around the kitchen table. We work out our differences. We use good manners. We cleaned off our plates, and we got the work done for the boys and girls. I am thankful. I'm humbled. I'm grateful for you, Pat Anderson, and I hope that we can continue to have those conversations along the way. I'm going to miss you. Please come forward. Look, you have your own paparazzi.
It didn't turn out?
It's my hair.
We broke.
Ma'am?
Absolutely. Well, first I'd like to thank the residents of the 8th District for allowing me to serve as their board representative for the past 8 years. It's been an incredible honor. I'm humbled by the experience, and I've been richly blessed by that opportunity. I've also been blessed by the 26 individuals that I've had the opportunity and honor to serve with as members of this board for the past 12 years. And that sounds like a lot of folks when you stop to think about it, but there are truly 26 individuals. And over the past 12 years, we have never lost our focus, and to use one of Dr. Looney's terms, laser focus, on what we knew that this district could be. We've always known that we were destined for greatness. And 5 years ago, in a dark room upstairs, we found our leader to take us to greatness. He's assembled the finest group of administrators. We have the finest teachers anywhere. We've got the very best students, a supportive community, and everything that we need to have the greatness that we're achieving today. and I'm so thankful for this. It's been a wonderful journey, and you still have my phone number. Maybe don't call me at 3 a.m. But I will answer the phone, or I will call you back. So I just want to thank each one of you that are sitting here around the table tonight, as well as those that are in the audience. It's been such a wonderful experience, and I'm very, very grateful. So thank you so much.
In closing, I'd like to once again thank the board members that will be leaving us, and I'd like to make this commitment to you. We're not going to feel sorry for you because you lost the election or have decided to resign or retire. We're going to miss you, but we're not going to feel sorry for you. We're going to honor your work by making sure that we continue our progress as a school district. The new board members that are coming on, I welcome you, and I look forward to working with you. This is a tremendous organization. It is hard work. And the only way that we can continue to be successful is to honor the commitment that we made to you 5 years ago, and that is to keep the metal to the pedal, or the pedal to the metal, whichever one works for you. To stay focused and to make sure that every single day, all of our employees give 100% so that the boys and girls that we serve have every opportunity for success. You're leaving knowing that we have the highest ACT scores on record. We have the highest TCAP scores that we've ever recorded. We have more blue ribbon schools in the history of this school district. We have a great graduation rate. We've got a great team list. And we collected $123 million in scholarships last year. None of that happened by accident, and frankly, none of it happened because of my leadership. It happened because you allowed me to assemble a team, and it happened because you allowed me to do the hard work day in and day out and govern that process to your work. So thank you. I look forward to you coming back, speaking at the public forum, and I look forward to you seeing the good work that we began under your leadership and that we will continue under the new board's leadership. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is a board chairman's report. And I want to just thank everyone again for our outstanding TCAP results that we've had. Our students continue to perform at the highest level under the incredible leadership of Dr. Looney, this board, and our staff, our great administrators, the best teachers who inspire, motivate, and encourage students each and every day, the parents who see that our students show up to school ready and eager to learn, and our students that do just that, learn and show what they've learned on these test scores, and our community that values and supports education. So I want to thank everyone for that. It's truly a team effort, and we could not do it without such an extraordinary team. Also, I would like to this evening offer our condolences to the family of Eugene Wade. For those of you who knew Eugene, he was a flashy dresser who kind of kept everybody motivated and moving around in the central office in the latter days of his career. But he actually started as a teacher in segregated schools here in Williamson County. And to think about that and the journey that he had, he spent 50 years in our schools, 50 years without a single day absent. And as I was looking through some things this past weekend in my files, I found this story that Eugene shared with me a number of years ago, and I thought it might be fitting as a way to honor his memory. And it's called The Mayonnaise Jar. And some of you may have seen this before, but I'm going to read it if you'll just indulge me for a few moments. As I consistently reflect each evening as I drive north on the interstate, I'm reminded of how important relationships are with family, friends, and people in general. Thus, this anonymous article is apropos as we interact with students, parents, family, friends, and other stakeholders in our lives. When things in your life seem almost too much to handle, when 24 hours a day is not enough, remember the mayonnaise jar and 2 cups of coffee. A professor stood before his philosophy class and had some items in front of him. When the class began, wordlessly he picked up a very large, empty mayonnaise jar and proceeded to fill it with golf balls. He then asked the students if the jar was full. They agreed that it was. The professor then picked up a box of pebbles and poured them into the jar. He shook the jar lightly, and the pebbles rolled into the areas between the golf balls. He then asked the students again if the jar was full. They agreed that it was. The professor next picked up a box of sand and poured it into the jar. Of course, the sand filled up everything else. He asked once more if the jar was full. The students responded with a unanimous yes. The professor then produced 2 cups of coffee from under the table and poured the entire contents into the jar, effectively filling the empty space between the sand. The students laughed. "Now," said the professor as the laughter subsided, "I want you to recognize that this jar represents your life. The golf balls are the important things: family, children, health, friends, and favorite passions. Things that if everything else was lost and only they remained, your life would still be full. The pebbles are the other things that matter, like your job, house, and car. The sand is everything else, the small stuff. If you put sand into the jar first," he continued, "there's no room for the pebbles or for the golf balls. The same goes for life. If you spend all of your time and energy on the small stuff, you will never have room for the things that are important to you. So pay attention to the things that are critical to your happiness. Take care of the golf balls first, the things that really matter. Set your priorities. The rest is just sand." One of the students raised her hand and inquired what the coffee represented. The professor smiled and said, "I'm glad you asked. It goes to show that no matter how full your life may seem, there is always room for a couple of cups of coffee with a friend." So thank you, Mr. Wade. We appreciate all that you did in your service to Williamson County. That concludes my report for this evening. We will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is item 3A1 under new business. This first item is on page 77. It's Board Policy for First Revision 3.300, Equipment and Supplies Records. Delete. Dr. Looney.
Madam Chair and board members, I do recommend deletion of this policy. This is the first reading, so it will come back one more time. Is that correct, Jason?
That's correct.
Yes, sir. Would someone like to make a motion? Motion for Ms. Mills. Second for Ms. Vogt. Is there any discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is 3A2, Board Policy 3.4002, Transportation Records. Delete. This information is on page 79. Dr. Looney.
Boy, 1978. I think that was the year of the Bee Gees. It's been a long time, and we keep records differently. I do recommend deletion of this policy.
Someone like to make a motion? Motion for Mr. McLaughlin.
Second.
Second for Ms. Hammond. Is there any discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is 3A3 on page 81. It's Board Policy 6.306, Demonstrations and Strikes. This is for deletion. Dr. Looney.
Recommend deletion.
Someone like to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion from Mr. Welch. Second. Was it Ms. Mills or Mr. Peterson? Is there any discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is 3B1. These are 2014-15 General Purpose School Fund Budget Amendments. The first one is CTE. It's on page 85. Dr. Looney.
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. I do recommend approval of this resolution appropriating $28,000 for equipment needs in this child or career technical education program relating to the child care program.
Someone like to make a motion? Motion for Mr. Hullett.
Second.
Second for Ms. Hammond. Is there any discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is 3B2 on page 87. This is a Verizon grant. Dr. Looney.
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. We've been fortunate enough to have a Verizon grant for the last several years. This year's grant is a little bit lower than what we're accustomed to, but this relates to the $37,317 total amount, $17,317, which of it is carryover, and a $20,000 new grant. I do recommend your approval of receiving this grant and using it for the expenses denoted.
Someone like to make a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion for Mr. Wimberly. Second for Ms. Vogt. Is there any discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is 3B3 on page 89, United Way. Dr. Looney.
Madam Chair and board members, we have an outstanding relationship with United Way, and thanks to the hard work of Dr. Deb Enright, I don't know if she's here tonight or not, but as you know, one of her tasks is to write grants. We began with a very small program where United Way provided tutors after school to tutor students who are at risk, was highly successful, and we've convinced them every year to expand that this year to 5 elementary schools. Incidentally, 100% of the students they have worked with have shown reading progress. I'm not saying that's the only reason they progressed, but certainly it's an indication that it has helped. So $42,500 from United Way for this grant. I do recommend your approval.
Someone like to make a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion for Ms. Hammond. Second for Mr. Welch. Mr. Gregory.
Dr. Looney, you referenced that one of Deb's tasks is writing grants. I'm curious what else she's tasked with.
She's in charge of community development, so she runs our ambassador program, makes connections with the business community, those 3 primary functions.
Okay, thanks.
Is there any further discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is 3B4. This is the LEAP grant. Dr. Looney, it's on page 91.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a grant that we received, what Centennial High School has received for the last several years. I believe last year's award was $63,000 or somewhere around there. How much? 48,000. So it's gone up this year. This is actually grant money that comes from lottery proceeds. I do recommend approval of using this grant for tutoring at-risk students at Centennial High School, $75,000.
Someone like to make a motion? Motion for Ms. Vogt. Second for Mr. Welch. Is there any discussion? Are we ready to vote?
The vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is 3C. These are the 2014-15 intra-category transfers. C1 is on page 93. It's the Educational Capital Projects Fund Amendment for Renaissance High School. Dr. Looney?
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. Through the hard work of Dr. Brian Bass, Dr. David Allen, the Director of Career Tech, and our new Assistant Superintendent, Charles Farmer. Charles, say hi to everybody. We have been aggressively pursuing a redesign of what formerly was Middle College High School. If you've been to that facility, you know that the basement was just that, a basement. It was just a wide open area with concrete walls. That was, for the most part, not functional. These gentlemen, along with Dr. Bass, has developed a cooperative agreement with TCAT to bring computer design, audio recording, and a number of other innovative programs. And so this money will allow us to repurpose the basement for instructional space moving forward. I think this is a great investment. I'm really excited about where that school's going. We have a record number of enrollees this year at Renaissance High School, so I look forward to this moving forward and do recommend your approval of this expenditure for $221,000.
Someone like to make a motion? Motion for Mr. McLaughlin. Second for Mr. Peterson. Is there any discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is 3C2. This is the Scales Classroom renovation. The information is on page 95. Dr. Looney?
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. As we discussed in work session, Scales has had an unexpected boost in student enrollment this year, and we are in need of creating additional classroom space. So we have disassembled some computer labs. We're going to put cubbies for the elementary school kids in those classes. And then in a little bit, I'm going to be asking you for authorization to enter lease agreements for portables as well. So we have a significant capacity issue developing at Scales. This will create some additional classroom space that's very much needed at this time. I do recommend your approval of this resolution.
Someone like to make a motion? Motion for Mr. Hullett. Second for Ms. Hammond. Is there any discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is 3C3. This is department restructure. It's on page 96. Dr. Looney?
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. Pending your approval of this resolution, I'm going to authorize Mrs. Birdsong to restructure her department so that we've become more effective and efficient in our external communications. Appreciate your consideration.
Someone like to make a motion? Motion for Mr. Welch. Second for Ms. Mills. Is there any discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is 3D. This is 2014-15 budget resolutions. The first one is D1 on page 97 for new teachers. Dr. Looney?
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. I'd like to explain this one a little bit because technically we would not need to take this to the county commission, but I've insisted that we do. And so Leslie has prepared a resolution, and I'll tell you why we don't have to take it to the county commission in a moment. But the bottom line is this, is we have used all of our teaching positions that we had been allocated for the school year. Enrollment continues to grow on a daily basis. We have had and this happens every year, we've had an unusually high number of special needs students moving to the area that requires specific accommodations, and we are in immediate need for 4 special education teachers. Well, what this resolution does is it authorizes us to hire up to 10 additional teachers for the district as we continue to grow. I'm going to be taking this to the county commission just for the sake of transparency. We have the fund balance to do it without the county commission's approval, but just for the sake of transparency and making everybody feel like they've been included in the decision making, certainly we'll take that to them as well. We will only use these funds as needed. So in other words, if we don't continue to grow, we won't hire all of the teachers unless we absolutely need them. I do recommend your approval, $638,784.
Motion for Ms. Mills. Second for Mr. Hullett. Mr. Wimberly?
Dr. Looney, what if we have to use the full 638,000? What does that do to our fund balance?
It decreases it by that same amount.
And where does that put Leslie in the level of comfort on the fund balance?
I'm afraid she's always going to tell you it's not enough. So, Leslie, I'll let you answer.
Well, she won't be a smart aleck.
It's in the water, Mr.
Take that
Wimberly.
back.
Sorry.
She might.
We will be okay since we provided for the 3%, which we have to anyway, and we normally go into that 3%. This won't take us into the 3% because we did close out a little higher than the 3%. So right now, this is fine.
I take that as a yay on level of comfort for you.
I've never liked our fund balance the size that it is. It needs to be a little bit bigger for the size,
Okay,
operations
thank you.
Okay. That is my soapbox.
I would like to, just for the sake of transparency, I do want to say that I don't think this will be enough to get us through the year. I think it might be enough to get us through the first semester. We'll know more after about 40 days of school, but the reality of it is enrollment will continue to grow throughout the year, and I'm not sure that 10, given that we already need 4 of them in special ed, is going to suffice for the entire year. It certainly will get us to the point where we don't have to delay meeting the legal requirement. The legal requirement is when the class cap goes over, you only have 10 days to come into compliance with the law. And so this will allow us to meet that requirement without fear of penalty before we run out of teaching positions.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is 3D2. This is on page 99. This is for portables. Dr. Looney?
As I mentioned just a few moments ago, we have a need to enter into some lease agreements with portables. We're requesting $150,000 to enter lease agreements for the rental, moving, and setup costs for portables. So just to be clear, and this may be more money than we need, is that correct, Mark? Maybe. So we need portables at Scales Elementary School, and we're requesting additional space at Nolensville Elementary School. Did I leave anything off, Jason?
No, that's right.
So up to $150,000 to come from undesignated fund balance.
Someone like to make a motion? Motion for Mr. Hullett. Second for Mr. Peterson. Is there any discussion? Ms. Vogt?
Dr. Looney, do you know how many portables we have currently?
Is it 11?
District-wide, it's approximately 11. I can send you all an email just to make sure we give you the exact number. We've gone down up until this year.
Right.
Fairly steadily, but with the growth in the north side, it's different this year. I can get you the number exactly, but it's approximately 11.
Thank you.
It's close to the number 11. I'm not exactly sure. We'll get you that information tomorrow.
And one of our board goals has been to decrease the use of portables, but we're looking at, for the foreseeable future right now, increasing.
We've been successful up to this year. And so the scales enrollment growth was unexpected. There's not new development there, so it's housing churn. We're going to have to address that long-term. Portables is not a long-term solution, obviously. Nolensville, we're just simply behind the funding schedule for Nolensville. That will dissipate as soon as the new school opens in 2017. So we should, I'm sorry, 16. We should be in good shape, as soon as those schools open. So, and then Ravenwood as well. We have 6 at Ravenwood, I think. So those will not have a need for those moving forward once Nolensville High School opens. So once the schools in Nolensville open, we'll be in really good shape, with the exception of Scales and Lipscomb.
Mr. Wimberly?
Ms. Vogt asked my question. Thank you, Vicki.
Ms. Hammond?
And Ms. Vogt also touched on my question about Ravenwood. Just a confirmation here based on the enrollment numbers. Does it look like the 6 that we now have at Ravenwood should be sufficient for the year?
I was at Ravenwood today, and they're running at about 2,115 students right now, I think. They are very, very crowded. I think that we're in good shape for the current year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure we'll make it through the next year, which will be the primary construction year of Nolensville High School, where we might have to add a few more. To be frank with you, the classroom space is less significant than the common area space.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, we've had this conversation multiple times. The cafeteria and the primary spaces in the building, the core facilities, weren't designed for that many students, and so we have students that are eating on the floor and in classrooms wherever they choose to, essentially, to eat.
But you don't feel like we need to put another one there
Not
at this time at
no.
Ravenwood?
No.
Thank you.
I can add a little bit, if I may, Dr. Looney. We have capacity through Mark Samuel's work with the maintenance department for 2 more locations for portables. We anticipate we will need those in 2015. And it's just going to, 2015-16 is just going to be a painful year for Ravenwood. And that's traditionally what we experience with our construction and funding schedules for new schools. So that's what they're going to experience.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. That concludes the business that is on this evening's agenda. But before we adjourn, I'd like to recognize our teachers, administrators, and staff members that are in the audience. If you would please stand and let us welcome you. Thank you very much for being here. We always appreciate your presence and your support. Also, I was remiss and I did not welcome Dr. Farmer to the table this evening. I think because you've been with us for a bit and we haven't had a chance to have a formal meeting, but we congratulate you on your new position and wish you the very best. I know you'll be very successful in that position. Thank you. If there are no other announcements, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much for being here this evening.